Hello, and welcome to the week ahead readings for September 29th through October 6th. So we're wrapping up that energy, big eclipse season energy of September and rolling into the first week of October. I did 2 collective readings already using the Moonology Manifestation Oracle Deck. So I'm going to be going through my notes from that, and I'll show each of the cards as we get to them. So for my process, if you are new, I channel intuitively, and then when I feel called to flip over the card, which I've already drawn and is face down, I do that, and then I share. So that's what I usually do in my live classes, which you'll see elsewhere on my YouTube channel when you go to the Week Ahead Readings playlist, and I record those on Insight Timer. And for these solo readings, I follow the same exact process. It's just me and my computer typing with my deck of cards. So at the different points when I do flip over the card or I do show it to you, that is the point in real time when I was here channeling, when I had received the instruction to flip the card over and share the insights from it. So to kick us off for reading number 1, the first message that came in was, quote, weightless feeling of freedom and the embrace of brand new life. There's an expansiveness to this week with a shimmering glow woven into the backdrop. Everything is a bit sparkly and golden. We're being asked to take in the tiny details, and the big picture wins. It was very clear here that wins are not being defined as accomplishments, achievements, rather areas of growth, satisfaction, gratitude, and anything that qualifies as awe-inspiring. Quote, everything matters over nothing matters. That's the perspective that we're trying to take this week. And it was at this point that I was guided to flip over the first card, which is the first quarter moon in Aries, step into your power. I was surprised when I flipped this one over because I was expecting, oh, well, this sounds so Sagittarian. This is going to be one of the Sagittarius cards. And it was a fellow fire sign, but it was Aries. And when I flipped this card over, after my initial surprise, what came through was you own the night, you reach for the day, you ease into the afternoon. So this reclaiming is happening here as we are stepping into our power. We're reclaiming our ownership of time, our autonomy, and joy. So what we were discussing a little bit earlier. We gain and we assert our power through the expression of joy, living in joy and gratitude. And especially when we're in a time that's really fraught with challenges, stress, and confusion. I had this long quote come in, I'll read off now. It's not a badge of honor to work yourself to the bone. Rather, life's greatest accomplishment is derived from living through and in spite of adversity, with an aura of pure love, kindness, compassion, play, and connection. We can choose that every day of this week and every day after. For the second reading, the first thing that came in was forget-me-not flowers. Then it was we're plucking petals. Then we're stopping to smell the roses. So we went right from one thing to the other. And I saw us walking through a lush garden. The call to action here is not just reconnecting to nature, like how we normally talk about it in these readings when we're discussing nature, like connection to nature is about grounding or finding a sense of calm. If we're like really erratic and activated, we want to ground. That was not the energy here. We're connecting to nature because we want to see the beauty in it. We're, quote, finding beauty in all places and corners of the world. So how this came through was kind of an activity week. We've had some of these before, but we're dedicating the first 3 days of the week. So that's sometime on Monday, maybe Tuesday, depending on your time zone when you're seeing this. The first 3 days of the week, so either ending on Wednesday or Thursday, where we are looking outside of ourselves. We're looking in nature, we're looking in the world around us, and we are identifying beauty in all forms. After those first 3 days, we're then turning to ourselves and applying that same lens. Where's the beauty? 1, in our body, 2, in our soul or spirit, and 3, in our life choices of the past and the present. So we're extending that honoring and appreciation that we are first giving to nature, and we're applying that inward. Naturally, this phase, stage 2, as it came in, might be a little trickier, heavier, more challenging, bring up feelings, emotions of discomfort. So thoughts and emotions of discomfort. And for others, if you move through this and it doesn't end up taking up the rest of your week where it feels like this is a really huge challenge, you have the option to shift into stage 3 whenever it is that you're ready before the week is out and start the process of finding beauty within your family, friends, community. You're looking at those circles and you're flagging the meaningful connections that you have, and specifically whether they are currently being valued or they're being undervalued. So we are recognizing our people garden, that's how it came in, that we are planted in. So we went from real garden, real nature, real reality to ourselves, our landscape, physical, spiritual, intellectual, emotional. And then we are looking at the circle, the garden of people, the community that we are planted in, and we're assessing from there because they become, in some ways, an extension of us. To wrap this up, I had some questions that came in for each of these 3 stages. For stage number 1, we can complete this journal prompt. What is awe-inducing in nature that I have overlooked? For stage number 2, what are the top 5 most inspiring to me, not based on social norms, conduct, what we've been told in the media, but things that are inspiring to you about your body, your spirit and soul, and your life choices? Stage 3, if you get there this week, do I need to be repotted? So again, we are a plant in a garden in this analogy. Do I need to be repotted? So I was then laughing to myself, realizing, oh, wow, I had so much come in. And then I realized I hadn't even flipped over the card. So at this point, I flipped the card over, which was full moon in Aries, cool your emotions. So this felt fully just like a button on the end of this reading, which was pretty comprehensive. It had an overview, it had instructions for an activity and journal prompts. So it really fills out your entire week. And this was just the reminder here. We know that things are going to be stirred up this week, especially for stage 2. And maybe even across all of them. They could be, again, positive emotions. Not all emotions are negative. So emotions are coming up. And what we want to keep in mind is we don't want them to overtake us. We don't want them to distract us, throw us off the objective of our assignment, if you will, this week of finding the beauty in all forms. On to the analysis. Pretty obvious to start. What's in common with these cards? Well, they're both Aries. So we had the Aries first quarter and Aries full moon. This is the cardinal fire sign. And what I wanted to point out is that if you think about the nature of both of these readings, we're talking about 1, nature. We're talking about slowing down, not just rushing ahead and doing things. It's very Aries. We are stopping to smell the roses. We are engaging with finding beauty. We're also thinking about our connection with others as well. That is fully Libra coded. And we are, in fact, in Libra season. So the sun is in Libra. And the reason that this is notable is because Aries and Libra are what's called sister signs. And that means that they are similar in some ways, but then also total opposites. So the fact that we had 2 Aries cards and messages that were accompanying channeled messages that were very, very Libra coded tells us and reinforces the idea that we may be feeling a little bit uncomfortable. We are trying to shift our behavior towards Libra and away from some of these Aries components. Aries wants us to start things, plow through things. Consider reading number 1. And it's very focused on me, the individual, where Libra is we, like the couple, the group, in relationships. And we're trying to slow down, which comes up in both of these readings. We're paying attention to more of what is around us rather than just us, the individual, and what that reality, what that new perspective, what nature, what people have to offer. And the very important caveat here is not offer as in to help us achieve something or help us to get something done or help in a self-serving way, but offer for the collective, for healing, and for inner peace. So again, Libra is very much focused on peace, ease, connection, togetherness, and beauty. Now, to review the moon phases that we have here, for reading number 1, we had the first quarter moon, and this is when we are reflecting on a new chapter. If you think back to the first reading, the first line that came in was about having a new life. So we are in the process of trying to establish a new beginning, and that new beginning is us reclaiming our joy and our time through stepping into our power. And we're going to make adjustments throughout the week. What's working, what's not working, how do we need to pivot in order to make that new beginning happen and make it stick? And then for the second reading, we have the phase that comes after that one, which is the full moon. That is the achievement. And what's so funny, of course, is that a classic full moon ritual is gratitude exercises, is reflecting and saying, oh, so what have I achieved? What am I grateful for? And that was fully the energy of the second reading. We're stopping to smell the flowers. Rather than it being about us, though, again, it's being about the beauty, the collective, the connections, and then a little bit is about us. But in a way that is allowing us to connect to peace versus just what did I do? What did I do? It's more about how am I being? Who am I? How am I existing and navigating in this world? And we're expressing gratitude for what is accomplished, what is in existence, what has manifested. And of course, you can do both of these readings at the same time if you feel called to take on both assignments. That's how it came through. Because for both of them, we are trying to move the needle on something. And if you feel that you can do both, wonderful. You may just kind of slip into them without doing it intentionally. That's not uncommon. But we're looking not to burn out. We're looking to take small steps towards healing. Again, we have a healing process here. We have the Libra energy messages, Libra season, and you learn from Aries and you use that to heal, to create the balance that Libra so desperately needs. Before we close out today, I want to give a really quick update on my upcoming schedule. So I'm going to be doing my first astrology transit class of October on October 1st at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to be discussing Mercury entering Scorpio, the Aries full moon, talk about irony, Mercury squaring Pluto retrograde, Venus entering Libra and opposing Neptune, and then Pluto stationing direct. So all of those transits are happening between the 6th, which is when this energy portal ends that I just channeled, and the 13th. So we're really covering that second week of October's astrology. I'll be back live on Insight Timer for my week ahead tarot readings using my Mood Child Tarot deck on October 6th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So definitely check that out if you want to be there live, if you want to ask questions, or have an opportunity to be intuitively selected for a free mini reading. So be sure to head over to Insight Timer to check out what's on the syllabus for the rest of October. And I hope to see you in class. And if you can't make it, I hope that you join me here on YouTube to watch the replays. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good week.